Once again, the grandfather bombarded his grandson with foolish inquiries that brought a slight flush to the boy's cheeks. He probed if the lad truly had a girlfriend and what aspirations the youths held for the future. Matthew felt uneasy and confessed that they had only been to the cinema a few times and nothing had been settled yet. The old man hummed thoughtfully, attempting to conceal his cunning grin behind his bushy mustache. He often advised his grandson not to hurry into selecting a partner, as he would have to endure many trials and tribulations with the woman he loved. The words echoed in the grandson's heart as they left a profound impact on him. Matthew had been seeing Rachel for approximately 6 months, and the grandfather understood that the young lady was far from guileless and inexperienced. Philip felt a weight of responsibility for his grandson, whose mother had died many years ago, and he had to raise him single-handedly. The daughter had conceived the son in the early 90s, and the wily father had abandoned them both. Times were arduous, but the man refused to abandon his kin. He possessed exceptional knowledge of machinery, so he opened the first automobile repair shop in the city. As time progressed, the business flourished, and the family income grew. Therefore, the old man was anxious that his heir might fall prey to a swindler and be beguiled by the allure of a self-centered girl. Matthew was regarded as a desirable groom, and he had no dearth of female attention. The grandfather advised him not to rush into marriage and to scrutinize his prospective bride carefully. Rachel was attractive, and she could connect with anyone if she wished. However, there was something about her demeanor that made Philip apprehensive, and he disapproved of the way her eyes gleamed at the opulent furnishings in their house. She made diligent inquiries about the number of gas stations and workshops that generated revenue for the family. Her grandfather cautioned his grandson to keep his lips sealed and not reveal financial matters to outsiders. In his long life, the old man had encountered many people and been through trials and tribulations. An idea popped into his mind, and he resolved to test his grandson's fiancée. Since they were going to get married, he had to act swiftly. He enlisted the aid of a private investigator, and within a week, he received a comprehensive report. The appendix included transcripts of phone conversations and video recordings that eliminated any doubts about the honesty of Matthew's girlfriend. It became clear that she had been hiding many secrets from him. When Matthew returned home, he noticed his grandfather's strange expression and immediately asked him what was going on. They had a serious conversation in the kitchen for about an hour while Matthew went through the contents of the folder. His expression became increasingly grim with each page he read. He discovered that Rachel had a significant amount of debt and was seeing several questionable suitors. His grandfather warned him that she might even feign pregnancy, have a child, and then file for divorce to secure financial support for life. Matthew was devastated, and his grandfather's words only added to his distress. His grandfather advised him to compare himself with the other men in the pictures who appeared to be alpha males. The night passed with him pondering over their relationship and trying to reconcile the romantic moments he had shared with her. He found it hard to believe that Rachel was only using him for monetary gain. The next morning, he reviewed the file once more and then decided to pay Rachel a visit after a strong cup of coffee. The fiancé pulled away from the girl's habitual touch, informed her of the breakup, and asked her not to contact him again. The girl was tearful and confused, feigning ignorance and requesting an explanation. He threw a folder of incriminating evidence at her face and left the apartment, slamming the door behind him. The following month was agonizing for Matthew. Despite being attracted to Rachel, he knew that it was wrong to rekindle their relationship. His grandfather noticed his grandson's condition, but chose to let time heal his heart. As Matthew sat in his favorite cafe, sipping aromatic coffee and munching on scones, he saw Olivia, the lovely waitress with golden hair and cute dimples on her cheeks. He had always admired her but never asked her out, fearing history would repeat itself. He had already been burned once and didn't want to risk it again. His grandfather reminded him that there are many women to choose from, and that long-term relationships are the best test for true love. Grandfather suggested pretending to be homeless and penniless to test Olivia's feelings. Excited by the idea, Matthew bought old clothes and a wheelchair and showed up at the cafe ordering the cheapest coffee possible. Olivia asked about his situation, and he told her a preconceived legend. He invented a story about being in a car accident, losing all his money due to chronic depression, and becoming an invalid. Olivia comforted him and advised him not to lose hope. Matthew enjoyed the attention and sympathy he received from Olivia. He loved inventing new details about his supposed condition, sometimes feeling pain in his joints and difficulty moving. The young man found the waitress in her alluring uniform irresistible, and their meetings became a regular occurrence. Through their conversations, Matthew discovered that the beautiful girl inherited a communal apartment from her grandmother. Olivia offered to let him move in with her, knowing he was currently facing financial difficulties and housing problems. This made him feel like an insidious cheater, and he was filled with guilt. Later, Matthew informed Olivia that he had solved his housing problems and proposed that they try living together. She was initially afraid to even look his way, thinking he was a wealthy and conceited man, and was convinced that all women were considered gold diggers, a role she did not want to play. However, Olivia turned out to be a surprisingly good hostess and often created a romantic mood with candles during their dinner dates. To take their act to the next level, Matthew asked Olivia to arrange a loan for him to cover the cost of a medical operation, which he urgently needed. He could not ask his friends for such a large sum, and he was sure that no bank would approve a loan for a jobless man like him. Olivia didn't hesitate to help and readily agreed, telling him that she loved him and was willing to do anything for him. My grandfather expressed a desire to meet Olivia, and he went to the cafe several times. He never introduced himself, but the girl was always nice and courteous to him. The old man approved of her, giving Matthew one more reason to believe he made the right choice. On a Sunday morning, Matthew had a difficult conversation with Olivia. He confessed that he had arranged for her to be tested, claiming he was healthy and wealthy, with no obstacles to their wedding. Olivia was silent, not believing his words. Matthew kissed her on the cheek and left for the institute. When he returned home with flowers, he found an empty apartment and a note saying goodbye. Olivia had left, saying that love should not involve such tests. She found it cruel and vile and didn't want to continue the relationship. Matthew spent a week running around like a madman, trying to find his runaway bride. She wasn't in her communal apartment or at work, as she had resigned. He felt despair, but his grandfather urged him to fight for her. She valued her honor and dignity above riches and empty promises. Matthew remembered Olivia's mention of her village aunt and decided to hit the road. The village was 5 hours away, but he wasn't afraid of the distance. There, he found Olivia, who had run away from her fiancé. The conversation was long and difficult, and Olivia burst into tears at the end. She asked him never to test her again, and Matthew promised never to cheat.